Hey, okay, so welcome to this week's video. If you're new here, I'm a tattoo artist and I also just love reading and I do murals and a whole bunch of artsy things, so welcome. Okay, so basically when I was tattooing one of my clients, I found out that she loves Pride and Prejudice. She's always wanted to illustrate a children's book of Pride and Prejudice, and she was talking about I'd love to get it published, but I need someone to actually illustrate it to get it published. And I was like, here I am. Yeah, so I just really like my client's energy. It felt like we've known each other for a long time, and I really got a good feeling about it. So I'm so excited to dive into this project. Ever since I got back into reading, I really want to start either like illustrating book covers. If you watched, I was gonna say my last video, but by the time you're watching this, it might be a few videos ago. But if you've seen my video where I went to the bookstore just to look at inspiration for like really fun book covers I love, that's another thing I wanna do, whether it's like illustrating the whole book or just the book covers. I love reading and how creative it is. I just think that the little girl version of me would be so excited to see what I'm doing now. Oh my god. I'm gonna tear up. I'm just so grateful that I get to do this every day. Yeah, I'm gonna start talking about something else so I just don't start crying, and I hope I can edit this in a way that I kind of make all of my chaotic thoughts make sense. But welcome to this video. This is going to be a little documentary of illustrating my first book, what the journey is like, and I don't know, maybe you can get some advice out of it. Maybe you can just be inspired and try it yourself. Either way, I'm going to be sharing with you what I've learned and showing you the process, so I really hope you enjoy. So first of all, I've never read Pride and Prejudice before, and that's something that I really wanted to actually read before I was like, yeah, I'll illustrate this book. Like, as excited as I was, I wanted to really make sure that I understood the vibe and captured how like I see the characters in my head, and just it's such like a really beautiful period piece that, you know, I really wanted to do it justice. So I did read the book before illustrating it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not really my thing, but I was very open and honest about that with my client. I let her know like, hey, I did read it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as passionate about the actual story as you are. I absolutely understand how incredibly talented and smart, and the reason why people love Jane Austen so much. I think she's an absolutely incredible writer, and I think it's just because it was my first book that I've read from that time period, so I think the language was a bit harder for me to get into. I do read everything, but I will say I haven't read too many books from such a long time ago, so I think for it to really sink in and understand, I think I'd have to read it a second time, maybe even a third time, or maybe listening to the audiobook would help. I'm not too sure, but mad respect for Jane Austen. And yeah, I was honest with my client. I'm like, you know what, it's not my favorite, but I am still very passionate about illustrating it because I think the visuals are so stunning that I still want to do that. And she said that's okay. So I think we're gonna make a really good team. I just wanted to make sure she was okay with me illustrating it and not being as passionate about the actual story as she was, but we're on the same page, so we're okay. If anyone wants actual advice on how to actually start working with authors to illustrate books, honestly, I just was able to make a connection through my job, which I'm really thankful for. I don't really have any advice yet on how to partner up with authors if you do want to be the illustrator for an author. Maybe you can reach out to publishing companies, but I'm hopefully going to be doing that too. So once I learn more, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts with you as well. So yeah, let's learn together. And if you're an illustrator or an author or anyone who works in that field, please share your knowledge in the comments below, because I would absolutely love to hear from you. Okay, so the first step in this was meeting up for coffee, and she gave me her script so we could go over it scene by scene and line by line. I'm not super familiar with, like, obviously, like I said, I've read the book, but I'm not super familiar with very specific like outfits or scenes that she would like to see in the book. So basically she went through each scene and told me, this is exactly how I want it to look. Here are specific references of how the characters should look, stuff like that. And then I made notes as I went along. I do have the script, which I'm not going to share with you because it is her work and I don't want to share it until it's ready and without her consent. So I promise I'll share it with you when I can. It is now March and we're finally meeting up. She's been so wonderful and patient, and I've definitely communicated, hey, timeline wise, I think this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. So thank you so much if you're watching. I'm working full-time as a tattoo artist, so this is something that I'm just kind of chipping away at when I can. So my first order of business was basically just printing out like a little book. I am definitely going to be using my iPad to render it all digitally on Procreate. It's what I'm most comfortable with, and I think it's gonna look really wonderful. But I always like to start with a rough draft. I'm gonna give you a little tour of what I have so far, and then I'm gonna show you the cleaned up version before I give it to her. And yeah, I'll just be documenting my journey over the next few weeks. But yeah, I like to work on paper because I find it's very loose and flowy, just to like get what's in my brain onto paper, and then I can go back and refine it into a rough copy. Then we're gonna meet up, talk about that rough copy just to make sure this is everything she's imagined it to be, and I can go and make little changes. But I'll give you a little tour of this and show you what I'm thinking so far and all of that. So yeah, let's take a look. Okay, so here's the rough copy. I'm just gonna show you quickly just because this is very chaotic. It's just so that I can get my ideas onto the page. I'm not going to be showing you down here because that's where the actual writing is, and I want to keep that a secret for now. Yeah, so the first page is going to be Darcy and Elizabeth, and this page is kind of going to be looking like Elizabeth is sitting at Jane Austen's desk and writing, so we kind of wanted to give that little Easter egg kind of that it's like Jane Austen's actual desk, which I think is really cute. This one is gonna be like Mr. Bingley riding past the actual manor, Netherfield. I haven't done perspective in a very long time, so I'm gonna actually have to have like a little refresher on perspective because I want this all to look actually like proper and proper proportions and stuff. So we're gonna have a little 2-point perspective moment, so the building in the background is actually going to look correct and good. Next, we have a scene where Elizabeth is going to be sitting in the foreground at one of the balls, and then Mr. Darcy is going to be talking with someone kind of in the middle ground, and then in the background are just a group of girls just kind of chatting in the background. And we've got the scene where Jane is riding in the rain to Netherfield on a horse. I hope you like understand the chaos of my drawings and like how it's going to look. Just wait, trust the vision. Anyway, so that's a little sneak peek. I don't have too much else written and ready, but I'll definitely update you as I go along. Okay, so today we're just working on more of the Pride and Prejudice book. I'm so excited. I think it's really cute. I'm really proud of it so far. I'm just kind of like turning my rough concept sketches of what was in my brain into an actual rough copy that I can show my partner and like, hey, this is the vision, and hopefully it makes more sense. I find when I like just draw my rough concept sketches just to map things out, it can be really hard to understand what's going on. So hopefully she can understand what's going on. It's currently April 1st and we're meeting up on April 6th. So I have about a week to finish it. I have been procrastinating. So I'm really excited to finalize the whole rough draft. I currently have, I think, 5 pages plus the title page, so we're about halfway through. I'm proud of myself for getting this far, but we still have more to do. So today I'm just spending the day at home. Honestly, I'm gonna go do groceries, but I'm gonna leave you here. You don't need to come do groceries with me. But yeah, we're just gonna be working on our book today, so I'm going to show you some of that, and I guess next time I'll see you will be at our meeting, maybe sooner if I want to record a few more bits of me working on it. But I'm really excited to document this journey, and this is a huge learning process for me because I've never done anything like this before, and I found before I was actually pretty nervous and hesitant to draw people. Now that I've kind of like figured out my style and how I like to draw people, I like to use like a bit of inspiration from anime, but more like illustrative. I feel a lot more confident. It has been taking me quite a long time because I'm kind of relearning perspective, like how to draw like a 3/4 view of a face, or like straight on, or like them looking back or something like that, or even just how like fabric falls around the body, or like the horse in that one scene. Luckily I grew up a secret closeted horse girl, if you didn't know, so I was pretty comfortable drawing a horse because I used to draw them all the time when I was younger. But yeah, little things like that. I'm definitely gonna have to take another refresher on perspective drawings because I want to get Netherfield and some of the buildings looking like nice, like just correct, you know? I'm thinking like a little 2-point perspective moment. But yeah, I think it's amazing because it's really just teaching me new things as well as letting me solidify my style and just freshen up on certain things I haven't done since college. So I did take an art fundamentals course and we did learn perspective and like character designing, so that's all slowly coming back. But I've been tattooing for a while, and not that I don't use any of those skills in tattooing, it's just like I'd say a little bit different because it's a full book, not just like one singular tattoo design. For example, I tattoo a lot of fairies, but it's always just like one fairy in one position. It's not like I'm having her like look different ways, wear different outfits, so that's just what's been taking a bit more because I want to make sure the characters still look like the characters in each part of the journey. Also, another thing I want to ask my business partner about is, I know Pride and Prejudice is public domain, however, the movies are not public domain. So I'm just worried that the book is a bit too similar to the movies. It's not that we're trying to copy the movie's scenes. She just really loves the, I think it's the older version of Pride and Prejudice, like from the 90s, like is it the BBC version? I haven't seen that one, but she loves that one. So I just want to make sure that we're going about it legally correct, but I'm sure if this was something that was going to be published, like we would meet up with a publisher, they would kind of guide us. Maybe we need to talk to a lawyer just to make sure we're not like infringing on any sort of copyright or anything. That's not something I want to do. Yeah, just thought I would put that in there just for you to know and for you to think about, but also so I don't forget. Okay, so it's meeting day, and I think I'm going to end part 1 here. She really loved the book. There's a few things that I have to change, subtle things like faces and just adding some backgrounds. I didn't want to render all that in case she wanted something different, but overall she's really happy with it. And in part 2, I'm going to show you a more in-depth tour of the rough copy. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.